Welcome back to Arcane Answers. I'm your host, Lair, and joining me today are the formidable Amanda and Sarah. How you
Hello.
ladies doing today? Oh, hey, I got a little bit behind. You got a little bit ahead.
I was just so excited. I'm ready to go for this one.
All
I'm
right.
really enjoying the introductions.
Oh my gosh, we saw this billboard. It was like Oklahoma versus everyone for a wrestling match, and I was like, that tracks.
Oklahoma versus everyone. I like that a lot. All right. Today we're diving into the fascinating and often chilling topic of dreams, sleep paralysis, and the elusive concept of shared hallucinations. All right. Yeah, shared hallucinations. Like when you get into like sleep paralysis or you have a dream that someone else has had the same dream, that kind of a thing. Not so much
Okay.
about like waking hallucinations, but more like the sleep kind.
I am excited to hear about this. I have never heard much about that.
Well, so most of like our sleeping and dreaming comes during the REM cycle, rapid eye
Uh-huh.
movement. Uh and so our brains are practically active when we're awake, but when we're dreaming, we I guess we don't really know like what's going on there. Some like uh people believe that it is to help us go over our day, to process things that have happened, deal with emotions that we've suppressed. Like there is the empathy theory that suggests that sharing dreams with other people in real life can actually make us feel more connected and more empathic, like kind of sharing a good story. Now, I don't know if that's true because, like, oftentimes I hear people tell me their dreams and I'm like, huh, but that's not real. You know?
Yeah.
So, but I mean, sometimes they're really good and you're like, oh, this is a good story.
Hmm.
So my mother-in-law, she is into dreams. She will tell you about her dreams, and she likes to hear about your dreams. So she's like an anomaly to that. But then there's sleep paralysis, which,
Which is awful.
yeah, it is crazy. So when you wake up, you're totally conscious, but you and you can see everything around you, but you can't speak or move. And it's again like a glitch in our REM sleep where our muscle Antonia from the dream cycle keeps us paralyzed. Essentially, that's the thing that keeps you from acting out in your dreams and
Hmm.
spilling into wakefulness, so you're not thrashing about as much.
Yeah.
So it locks you in your body, but you're kind of awake, and it's even if it's just a few seconds to a couple of minutes, like it gives people just fear and panic, and you feel helpless. Like I completely get that. I had it once, um, and I saw a shadowy figure moving towards me. It was nuts. And then my son got it, and I was like, that is so fascinating. Tell me more about it. He was like, well, okay. That's not the reaction I was looking for.
I was looking for some sympathy, Dad. Thanks.
I think so, but I was like, it's way too cool just to be sympathetic.
I
But
don't really.
Have you ever had it?
Oh yeah. So I've only had like a hallucination with sleep paralysis one time. I do frequently wake up in the night, and probably a couple times a year I know I'm awake and I try to get up and I just can't. I feel like there's 300 pounds of weight on my body and I can't get up, and that just pisses me off because I know that I am awake and I know that I need to move and I cannot, and it's hard to breathe at that point, and it's just stupid. It's a stupid, stupid thing to wake up to. It's scary when you do hallucinate, but more importantly, it's just stupid when you can't move.
well, there are three like main types of hallucinations, and that would fall under the incubus hallucination, where people feel like a crushing pressure on their chests, or they believe that the physical sensation is like a lot of people who are into the mysticism believe that it's a malevolent entity pressing you down like an incubus. And some cultures believe that demons prey on sleepers, and so you fall into that category.
Well, I hate it.
That's awful. I'm excited to hear the other ones because my son suffered from like nightmares for a really long time, but he would be awake.
That is the intruder hallucination, probably. And that's where you feel like there's a dangerous person or shadowy figure in the room. And a lot of believers believe that, you know, gets shared with other people. Like, so what they're seeing, like the Hat Man, are you guys familiar with the Hat Man at all?
Mm-mm.
Yes.
Okay, you are. I'm going to explain this then to Amanda. So a lot of people, when they are sleeping and they get the sleep paralysis, they see a common shape of a guy wearing what would be like a large fedora, all black. You can't make anything out of him, and that is known as the Hat Man. It's like a reoccurring figure in sleep paralysis.
Oh.
Yeah. Again, my son saw an alien, which is also common. A lot
Oh,
of people
interesting.
believe in aliens, or the belief of alien abduction comes from this sleep paralysis as well.
Oh, that makes sense.
And then there's the vestibular motor hallucinations. Those are the ones where you feel like you're falling or flying. Um, a lot of times it's a very positive experience. The flying sensation is very good, but the falling one, you wake up often. You're like, "Bah!" and you're catching your bed even though
Oh,
you
yeah.
haven't moved. Yeah.
That happens to me regularly.
Yeah, is that the one where it feels like somebody just shook your bed real hard and you wake up ready to fight somebody?
Nope, that's a poltergeist. Uh,
Oh.
That's for a different episode.
Well, I don't want to sleep anymore, guys. I'm out.
I'll go start some more coffee.
Time for pharmaceutical grade Sudafed.
Now, researchers generally think these demons or figures are just our brain trying to make sense out of a very confusing situation.
Mhm.
So, like, the consciousness is still partially in the dreamlike condition. So, our brains are creating a story to tell you what's happening internally. And sometimes they make that story really scary.
Oh.
Yeah, so things like not getting enough sleep or stress or anxiety or even sleeping on your back can make you more likely to experience sleep paralysis.
I did know that one.
Yeah. I think
But
that's pretty
do
interesting.
you sleep on your back?
Sometimes.
I
It
don't.
just depends. If I usually sleep on my side, but I sleep with the dogs a lot. So that'll roll me onto my back. Sometimes I just roll onto my back in the midst of going to the other side because my arms go numb a lot in my sleep.
Yeah, mine do too.
Yeah, start off on my side and often wake up on my back, and apparently it's probably because I'm snoring. I think that I don't have the choice to wake up the way I want to because I sleep with someone else, and I think that they position me while I'm sleeping. This is just a different theory.
I think you're more likely to snore on your back than you are on your side.
I don't know. I just get told I snore, and I'm in a different position when I wake up, often bruised. No.
Battered and bruised.
Why is she
Right.
like this?
I wake up and I say, "You did it again, didn't you?" My virtue. No. So the idea of shared hallucinations. So the idea is that two or more people can literally experience the exact same dream or paralysis hallucination at the
Mhm.
same time. And you hear a lot of stories about like shared dreams, or I do, because I read this weird stuff. And but like people who are really close, it's like they're meshing or syncing in their dreams. And some people call it dream telepathy. And they
It,
actually think they can communicate with each other telepathically while dreaming.
I don't think I've ever had that happen with anyone.
I don't think so either.
I've definitely had the shared dream situation where I was like, "Hey, you were in my dream," and they're like, "Hey, you were in my dream," you know. But that could just be like people.
Coincidence.
Yeah, it's definitely coincidence, but like, they could just be lying too. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, but some folks even bring up Carl Jung's collective unconscious, which I talked about in the last one of you know being in a shared pool of human experience. So,
Mhm.
but anyway, for believers, that the fact many people independently describe things like the Hat Man or incubuses, they have compelling evidence. I mean, kind of evidence, shared experiences that transcend or mere coincidence or psychological resonance. They feel like they're real. I mean, people all over the world connected by the internet are sharing these experiences. So like you're having the same experience as someone in Japan,
Yeah.
and there's no cultural touchstone for that other than the internet saying,
Mhm.
yeah, there's a hat man in my room, and they're like, oh man, I totally saw that too. That's my
I wonder.
Japanese accent.
Oh, I wonder if the hats vary depending on culture.
Oh,
Like for instance, if you're English or something, you've got the
little bowler.
bowler hat. Yeah, and if you're like in Latin America, you get a sombrero or
Hmm. I was wondering how you were going to pull this off. I was like, she going to go with some stereotypical, and she did.
I totally did. I mean, well, just because they're stereotypes because they were a popular headdress at one point.
Sure. And you're going to go with a coolie hat for like Asia?
I wasn't, no.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna go with one of those sweet Korean net hats on the top with the brims. Have you seen those from like historical dramas?
No, I haven't. Oh, the little bunny hats that they wear in the historical dramas.
Well, no, I'm talking about the scholars or the kings or the
Yes.
itself is net, so you can see through it kind of, and you can
Yeah.
see hair. And they got the dark brim. I don't
But
know.
some of them have like these weird little ears that stick off of them.
Yeah, I mean
Yeah. No, I've
that would
seen
be
those.
scary as shit if somebody showed up in one of those.
It would be.
Brim. I'd be like, "What are you doing out of cultural context?"
Like, or people who are famous for not wearing hats, like monks. They just have like a tonsure, where they shave the top of their head. You're like, I can totally see that in this shadow figure.
I thought monks, when they went out or worked in the fields, they had those floppy, they're almost like the Hampton hats, only for peasants
No, I think they wore hoods, like cowls.
in the field.
Yeah, I think, don't they wear cowls?
Yeah, I guess that just seems like your neck would get real hot.
I don't know. I think they like that. They wore hair shirts. Getting real weird with this one. But you know what? That's pretty much all I wanted to talk about is just this broad overview. Not the hair shirts or the monks, but
That's how these go.
It spirals.
you don't get to experience this in everyday life. Like you'd have to have a neurological disorder, I think, to have this while waking, but everybody gets a chance to experience something of a non-drug induced hallucination because of dreams. And when they bleed over into our waking world, it makes something like magic exist. And that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'm
But
just thinking about how vivid my daydreams were when I was a child.
yeah.
Mhm.
I didn't have to wait. In fact, I usually had better dreams awake than I did sleeping.
Yeah, I would have like when I'm falling asleep, like that lucid period where you're like, I'm going to dream about this and I'm going to do this. And like then you drift off to sleep and then it's something totally different.
One day I'll master the art of lucid dreaming.
But
got
that
some
moment before you fall asleep is like pure.
It is.
Yeah.
It's kind of magical. You are right, especially if you're in like the right time, like or
Headspace.
frame of mind, and you
Mhm.
just kind of start. I don't know, perusing thoughts or scenarios, especially positive ones, and
Yeah.
it's just such a nice way to fall asleep when you can make it happen.
It's normally like when the sun's coming in on your couch and you're taking a nap on it. Like that's some of the best sleep right there.
Yeah, that's when lucid dreams happen most often is during naps.
And I almost never am able to nap. It's really unfortunate. In fact, when I took my DNA test, it came back as unlikely to take naps, and I'm like, damn, these are getting better every year, aren't they? But it also had me as athletic, and I don't know if you've ever seen me, but I'm pretty sure you were there when I took the Superman sprawl on ice and bruised both my hip bones
I think
in the Sherry's parking lot.
oh, that's so sad.
No one should call me athletic. Fools.
Well, my athletic friend, I am going to turn this over to you.
Well, so I was really interested in the interpretation aspect of dreams. Um, dreaming, I think that dreaming is a way for your brain to work through things that it wasn't quite able to process during waking business hours. And
Mhm.
like some of these were pretty identifiable to me, while some of them were like, nobody dreams about that. Like, what are you talking about? Like gallbladders, for instance. Who's dreaming
Sure.
about their gallbladder? um,
I have definitely dreamt about gallbladders.
well,
I
you
was
went
an
to school as
ultrasound
an ultra,
specialist. Yeah.
yeah. But I found this site called Cafe au Sol,
Ooh.
by it's maintained by a woman who is a dream analyst. And so it's pretty cool actually because you can just click on a letter and then it gives you a bunch of topics under that letter, like a dream dictionary should.
Yeah.
Uh, but some of the common, first off, I've come to realize that it seems like most people have memorable dreams filled with anxiety.
Yes.
Because things that were denoting anxious dreams or things like being chased, falling, being late, being naked, being unprepared for like a test or a job interview or just in life in general,
Right.
car crashes, etc. Like these all represent anxiety and feelings of inadequacy. And then you have themes that involve like various weapons to protect or defend, or utensils to build things. You know, forks, hammers, just things that
I never thought of a hammer as a utensil, but I guess you
uh,
utilize it. So, what?
yeah, or artistic tools to stand in for self creation.
Mm.
Um, quicksand, for instance, can represent a crumbling foundation of beliefs. But by the time you're having that dream, it's usually because you are rebuilding some of your beliefs and you're just having a hard time releasing some of the old ones. Like you're reconciling things in your head through these feelings of this quicksand dream, which I thought was really
That's,
interesting.
I've never had a quicksand dream.
I
Like
I
haven't,
haven't either.
yeah.
my
Uh,
exposure to quicksand is very limited, and it's always in movies.
and it
Like,
always seemed like it'd be a big problem.
Correct.
yeah,
I was
Al-
just talking to my kid about that the other day, how I thought quicksand was going to be a bigger danger in my life.
well, like Alan Quartermain or like even Tarzan, like these old serials that were reran when we were kids. Like, we're like, there's going to be some quicksand. You got to be
Yeah.
prepared. And like, I remember getting information on how to survive quicksand. They're like, don't struggle, kind of float there and
Mhm.
call for help.
Everybody pays attention to those articles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and then so dreams about losing body parts was kind of interesting. So apparently, and these are like very common tropes that people report in dreams. So dreams about losing teeth. So either they're rotting out of your face or they're like crumbling when you touch them. Um, these convey a sense of anxiety about the way others perceive you or feelings of rejection and can also convey an inability to communicate.
Yeah.
So, like, something that you're holding back from saying can cause your teeth to crumble in your dreams because it's gonna come out whether you want it to or not.
That's
Um,
interesting.
This all
yeah.
makes so much sense. I had a lot of those dreams while I was in school.
Yeah, and, like, dreams about losing your hair is often intertwined with people who are having anxiety about aging, like loss of youth and vitality.
Oh.
Huh.
They'll be pulling their hair out. And then, like, dreams about blood loss or bleeding usually indicate somebody is just absolutely emotionally exhausted.
Again, I have never had these Cronenbergian dreams, like of where my hair and teeth are falling out and I'm bleeding.
And I've lost teeth before, but, like, my dreams are usually really stupid, like, really stupid. I wake up and I'm like, "That was a big waste of time, brain. What were you doing there?" And given that I don't remember but maybe a handful of dreams a year, it's kind of a letdown 'cause I'm like, "What?
Why?
Why?"
I have had nightmares though where like I'm trying to punch something or someone and it's just not working. Like I'm making connection, but it's like there's no power behind it. So that's
Yes.
like I'm sure you can interpret that as like you're feeling powerless in life or something like that, you know.
Yeah.
I'm looking up the dream journal right now. So, uh
Or when you're trying to run away from something, but it's like you're in quicksand and can't
Yeah.
run.
Or you have a gun and it like won't fire, like you're pulling the trigger, but like
Mhm.
it doesn't do anything.
So it's interesting, they don't have any, like, super like, feudal fighting, because I used to get noodle arms in my dreams, like, I'd be fighting somebody, and I'd go to throw a punch, and I'm like, "Noodly noodle."
Yeah, no, totally.
I
I
like,
like
"Oh, weak sauce." Suck even in your dreams, like, what is going on with your life? You can't punch somebody properly. Oh, and then animals. So, and animals are interesting because I'm wondering if as we move away from the more natural world and kind of enter into this primarily digital input, people live in cities,
yeah.
et cetera, like if this is going to change. But so dreams about being attacked by an animal can represent socially unacceptable feelings like anger or sexual attraction that are normally repressed. Those are becoming overwhelming. So, like uncontrolled animals are kind of this metaphor for uncontrolled emotions that you would like to keep in check.
Ah.
Oddly enough, so is plumbing.
Uh, I can
So,
see that.
yeah, plumbing, because of broken plumbing, is actually a positive connotation of a person being learned not to hold back emotions, like
Mhm.
coming to terms with the fact that the water is gonna fill the house and there's nothing you can do to stop it. So that
Okay.
that was interesting. I mean, it's also stressful, but, like, at some point in these dreams, apparently resignation is a part of it. Like, "Hey, here we go. My house is flooding again."
Wow.
I've had that happen. It is not a relief, I'll tell you
No,
that
it's
much.
not. I agree. Yeah. But also neither is coming to terms with the fact that you're going to have an uncomfortable emotional situation. So
Yeah. No, I've heard, like, of a large white horse representing, like, sexuality in your dreams.
Hmm.
this dictionary had goats, oddly enough, and rams as sort of sexual creatures. Hold on, let me look up horses. I'd imagine something free and wild, so that makes sense. I don't dream
Yeah.
about horses though,
I don't
so
Me
dream about
neither.
horses either. That's just one of the things I heard. I did, like, look into Freud a little bit for this, and, like, I know he's widely discredited and, like,
Yeah.
kind of frowned upon now, but I think, he started something, like dream analysis and all this other stuff. Like, I think, you gotta give a little applause to Freud.
yeah. Well, the other so dream interpretation is very interesting, but I also got interested in substances used to create waking dream states. So one of the things that I am interested in is the studies of consciousness, right?
Yeah.
Because realistically, we don't know why we're conscious. The whole like, who is it?
Or
Descartes.
if
I
we're
think, therefore I
conscious.
am.
Yes.
But we don't actually know why our brains perceive why as like biological entities we even need memories, right? Like there's this whole study of the field of consciousness because we just don't understand why we are.
Sure.
And so one of the substances that they have played with is DMT, which is present in your body in small quantities. But certain plants like ayahuasca have a lot of it, and you can make a
Right.
tea of it. And then, like, one of the things about it is that it provides very brief states of altered consciousness compared to something like LSD, where you're stuck in it for,
Like
a
8
couple
hours.
hours.
Yeah.
Or if, you've been dosed by the FBI, it could be days. Who knows? But
Yeah.
so, anyway, the people who use this in studies, because it is being looked at as a depression treatment, which is really interesting.
Mhm.
But they experience vivid imagery and the sense that they are visiting an alternate dimension.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah, so I guess with that, it relieves depression by expanding the concept that we are these like concrete entities in this very concrete reality. So that's kind of an interesting it's an interesting thought because oftentimes like when we wake from dreams, we feel, especially a good one, we feel better. We do feel like the
Yeah.
world expanded a little bit for us.
Yeah.
Um but uh it's just interesting to me that this is something that they're studying. And I was looking at the science of it. So I'm getting this straight from an article featuring Chris Timmerman, who does research at the Center for Psychedelic Research at Imperial College London. So this is not just, some backwoods drug dealer. So this is a quote. So one increasingly popular view is that much of brain function is concerned with modeling or predicting its environment. Humans have unusually big brains and model an unusually large amount of the world. For example, like optical illusions, when we're looking at something, some of what we're actually seeing is our brain filling in the blanks based on what we already know. What we have seen with DMT is that activity in highly evolved areas and systems of the brain that encode especially high-level models become highly dysregulated under the drug, and this relates to the intense drug trip. So they're able to create these dreamlike states by disrupting your brain's ability to do this modeling.
Interesting.
That is interesting. Well,
Yeah.
so I was at this conference, and the keynote it talked about when you sleep, your brain cells shrink, and it creates more space for cerebral spinal fluid to flow and flush out waste products like I can't even pronounce them, but like tau proteins and beta something or other. And so what they think that they say that that's crucial to maintain your brain's health and risk, cut down on the risk of neurodivergent diseases.
Oh, degenerative diseases like Alzheimer's.
Probably, yeah. But like, I wonder if when you're taking these, what do they call them? Not psychotropic, or is it psychotropic?
I think
Psychedelics?
they are considered
Psychedelics.
psychedelics or or maybe not psychotropics. Yeah, psychedelics.
Yeah. Psychedelics. When you're taking these psychedelics, I wonder what that does to your brain. You think it, like, while you're awake, it's forcing it to squeeze out this, squeeze the brain's toxins out, and you're getting a little bit of that too? I don't know.
Huh.
Yeah. Huh. Yeah, I should look that up. I don't know if that's even known yet. A lot of the MRI imaging that they're doing and just sort of other data gathering is still pretty new. I mean, while we've been messing with the brainwashing version of psychedelics since obviously the 50s, actually understanding ourselves and our consciousness, that's kind of a relatively new study that has gained traction outside of the woo factor in the last decade or so. So
I wonder if it's good for you, like a
probably
little
not.
extra cleaning.
I don't know if you
Kicks up that serotonin.
think about everybody you know who was a teenager in the 70s.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
Burnouts.
Yeah,
Yeah. Maybe
think
it's
you
not
need-
good for you.
Yeah, I think you need to balance your reality with your waking dream states.
Yeah, that might be true.
Just microdose it.
Which is also something weirdly becoming more popular in
Yeah.
modern. But
Yeah.
that's all I have for dreams.
Well, that was interesting.
Well, I think it's just a lot of food for thought. I hope that people, walk away wanting to look at these dream dictionaries and kind of explore it for themselves. Like I said, most of it's anxiety. And I'm like, yeah, I get that.
I wonder if it's anxiety because we live in these closer knit communities. Like, we have more things. Like, we used to be afraid of like predators, and like different predators than we're afraid of now.
Right.
Which are pretty much us. Like, it used to be a lion and our tiger, and now it's
Other
like
humans.
other humans, and we live so close together. We're like, I gotta lock my doors, and not because a bear is going to come in.
Yeah.
Well, and the idea of what causes this anxiety. So is the, I don't know, old school trope of being naked in school going to give way to just being having to troubleshoot endlessly this computer program that's thwarting you? Is that what people are going to start dreaming about more? Or having a wild animal chase you is just being chased by bits of data that you can't control or, revenge
or
porn?
robots, maybe.
There's modern problems.
Right. Right. My anxiety dreams always tend to be I am naked, but for some reason I'm using a toilet that's not private.
Oh my God, I've had that same dream.
It'll be in the middle of a kitchen,
Yes. And you're like, oh my God, why are these people walking
but
through
it's
here?
the only toilet.
So
The weirdest thing.
In the break room at my work, I
Is there a
often think
toilet in
about
the middle?
there's a toilet in the middle, and I think about, what if this door wasn't here? This would be the most awkward situation anyone's ever been in. Like, I'm just gonna go sit on this
Yeah.
and do the most intimate thing I can,
Yeah.
alone, and like, you're all here with me.
Yeah. And
Uh,
people are just like milling about, like doing their everyday tasks,
yeah,
not even
but I
paying
mean,
attention.
they literally are though, and you just have like thin walls separating you.
Well, no, I meant in my dreams. Like people are just milling about, doing their everyday tasks and whatnot. And I'm just naked sitting on a toilet in the middle of a room.
That's so weird.
Should probably look that one up and see what it's about.
Totally should.
Hold on, I'm on it. While you take it away, I'm going to look up dreams of being on the toilet in public.
Oh, you're welcome, listeners.
Sorry in advance.
All right. So I looked into lucid dreaming. So lucid dreaming is the experience of becoming aware that you are dreaming while you are asleep and in that dream state, which is usually in that REM state of sleep. So this can range anywhere from being aware that you're in a dream to actually being able to control your dream. So flying, like you were saying, is one of those really common things that people experience when they are lucid dreaming. Lucid dreaming can help you explore your creativity. Some people even use lucid dreams to confront and process difficult emotions and overcome fears. So, how does one lucid dream?
Oh, you're going to give a tutorial.
I'm going to give you a couple of tips and a website.
Nice.
So, my research took me to a website called calm.com. And the article was How to Lucid Dream 6 Tips to Train Your Body and Mind.
Mm-hmm.
So, the internet's filled with suggestions, but this is where I got my information from. So, one of the ways that you can, or one of the tips they give you is the reality test. So this involves doing things like looking at your hands or counting your fingers or performing the finger push test, which is, like closing your hands in on themselves, like you're going to make a fist. In reality, you feel your fingertips on your palms.
Yeah.
In a dream, you can actually push your fingers through your palms.
I have a question about the looking at your hands. Do our brains make AI hands? Like, are they gnarled and weird, or why?
There's always just something off about it. I'll get into, it's not hands, but I'll get into, they use clocks as the example. Or, taking your right hand, your right index finger and pushing it through the palm of your other hand.
But at that point, you have to realize beforehand that, like, you have to remember to look at your hands in your dreams. Otherwise, you're just dreaming, right? So you, at something before that has to tip you off that you're in a dream. You wouldn't just be like, oh, my hands, and then start doing weird stuff with them.
Right. So, a lot of people, not a lot of people, one person in particular who has talked a lot about working on lucid dreaming. She's one of the girls I listen to on a podcast. She talks about how she does that during the day. Like she'll just do it throughout the day. So it's more of a habit. So then when she's in her dream and she does it, she goes, oh, I'm dreaming.
That would freak me out if one day I'm just tapping my finger like I always do.
Oh, it's
right through.
That's so weird.
Yeah.
I mean, it's weird that the person's like conditioning themselves like they're training for a marathon, but it's just to go to sleep. They're like, all right, every day I'm going to do 10 finger push-ups.
Right. Or if something really weird, like you see something really weird in real life and you're like, am I dreaming? No, I'm awake.
Yeah.
You can also look for a clock. So a lot of times in dreams, clocks will be distorted or show like nonsensical things.
Yeah.
One of the ways you can tell if you're dreaming or not is you look at a clock, you look away, and you look back. If there is a big time jump or it distorts or gives you that nonsensical look to it, then you know you're in a dream. So when I was reading that, all I could think about is that persistence of memories painting with like the melting clocks.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
the clock thing made me think of Batman the Animated Series, where the episode pretends to dream. I
Not
know that
familiar
I'm
with
going
it.
into nerd territory here, but he opens up a book and he can't make out any of the words because he's in a dream. And that's how he realizes he's dreaming.
I had that happen in real life, and it resulted in a trip to the emergency room because I thought I was having a stroke.
It was just a migraine.
It's a migraine, but yeah.
So another way that you can, train your mind for lucid dreaming is keeping a dream journal. So just keeping a journal and a pen next to your bed to record your dreams. As soon as you wake up, you write down everything you can remember out of the dream. So the setting of the dream, how you felt in the dream, any other characters or people that were there. In order for this to help, you have to be consistent with doing the journal. The more you do it, the more you'll actually start remembering your dreams. After a few weeks, review that journal and identify common themes, symbols, and patterns that may help you realize when you are in a dream.
Oh.
Another one, which I absolutely hate this idea because I have trouble sleeping anyways, is wake back to bed. And so this involves setting
I'm sorry.
Wake back to bed. Like you wake up and then you go back to bed.
She didn't,
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
She didn't make it up. It's what it's called.
No.
All right. Yeah, no, I understand.
WBTW is what they call it. This involves setting an alarm to wake you up 4 to 6 hours into sleep. So this is when you're in that REM cycle. I'm not doing it. That's terrible.
I don't stay asleep for more than 4 hours anyway,
No.
and I still don't remember my dreams.
Let alone lucid ones, right?
Right. When the alarm goes off, you get out of bed and you stay awake for 20 to 30 minutes. At that point, I'm making coffee because I'm never going back to sleep. So you stay awake for 20 to 30 minutes doing some sort of calm activity, such as reading your dream journal or reading about lucid dreaming. After the allotted time, you go back to sleep, and apparently that helps condition your body into lucid dreaming.
I wonder. No, I was just thinking, I wonder if people who chase lucid dreaming end up with worse rest than anyone else.
That was what I was about to say.
Yeah, it sounds exhausting.
Yeah.
So another thing that's really hammered down is not to get too excited when you discover you're lucid dreaming, because that will actually wake you up.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And I've actually had that happen to me. So as soon as I was like, oh man, I'm doing it, I woke up and I was like, man.
Yeah, I can't think of any time I've known I was dreaming, except for like when you're about to wake up anyway for the day. And so, you know, that period where you slip out of a dream and you're just kind of daydreaming at that point, like you're imagining stuff and just barely continuing the dream.
Yeah.
But as soon as I realize I can control it, and as soon as I realize I'm in that, I just wake all the way up.
Yeah.
And again, that doesn't happen very often.
Yeah, same. Like I'm like, I'm dreaming, I'm awake.
Yeah.
You know, and then I wake up like at the witching hour all the time. I don't know if I'm just haunted or whatever. But 3 a.m. and I'm up.
Yep.
I feel like the older I get, the harder it is to sleep continuously. I very rarely will sleep a full 8 hours uninterrupted. Yeah. I usually wake up around 3 a.m., 3:30, and then go back to sleep a half an hour later, unless something wakes me all the way up. And then some days I'm just awake at 3:30, and it's horrible, and I can't nap. So I'm just like, oh, here I am, tired and grumpy for the rest of the day.
That's because you're a witch.
I think it's perimenopause myself, but
it could be that.
All right, so where was I? Okay. So don't get too excited if you do figure out you're lucid dreaming, because that'll just wake you up.
Stay cool, man.
It's also reported that lucid dreaming or practicing lucid dreaming can make you more susceptible to sleep paralysis.
Ooh.
And it also can disrupt your sleep pattern, causing severe anxiety and depression. Yeah. So practice at your own risk.
So not getting enough sleep causes the problems that not getting enough sleep gets.
That is correct.
Yeah.
That is correct.
Yeah, nice. I think that this is hilarious. Like the idea that like, hey, I'm gonna do this thing where it's really fun, but it's gonna just jack me up later.
Yeah. I'm going to try to lucid dream, but also the Hat Man sits in the corner every night now. And I'm afraid to go to sleep because I'm using the bathroom in public places and losing my teeth.
Oh, that's what okay, so I did look that up. So, so it has to do with coming clean, apparently. So, yeah. Okay, so the bathroom is where you come clean, according to this dream dictionary, when you feel dirty, and is often the setting of a dream when you need to release something you are holding, reflecting your inability to make a necessary change. When you reveal your intimate side in a situation, you may find your dreams taking place in the bathroom. Of all the rooms you dream about, the bathroom shows your desire to see yourself honestly without the need to cover up your feelings. During difficult transitions, the bathroom often becomes a symbol of the need to get naked or face the truth. Sometimes urinating when the walls are missing coincides with entering social situations where you felt forced to reveal yourself to others. The toilet is a symbol of the release of emotions.
Oh my God.
Searching for somewhere to relieve yourself can show holding onto your feelings or the desire to be more free in your expression.
Oh, that makes sense why people who get brought up on public indecency charges seem so free.
I don't know. So to me, every time I'm having these dreams, it's just me being anxious. I'm already an anxious pooper, so like
That's
the
a
idea,
family trait.
yeah, like I mean, gas stations, hell no, I'll hold it for 300 miles till I get home.
Oh man, I did not know that this was gonna go so scatological.
I mean,
No. So
happens.
I mean, so just the idea, it's horrifying. I don't know. It's just a straight anxiety dream. It's not that you want to, in my opinion, release something. It's like, oh shit, here we are.
I completely agree with you. I don't feel like it's a freeing emotion or anything. Like,
no.
It's just trying to do your business and get out.
Well, this refers a lot to dreams in a bathroom. I'm never in a bathroom.
No, just a toilet in the middle of a room or
I know.
It's just, I'm going to chalk it up to anxiety.
anxiety. I'm going to be so mad if we all end up having that dream because we just gave ourselves suggestive powers. And also to any listeners out there, don't have that dream.
But if you do, give us a call at 207-591-4443, and please don't make it about poop.
I think we should probably give them a better suggestion. What should we suggest to our listeners that they dream about tonight?
Ooh, that's a good one. The Hat Man riding a horse.
Why would you?
No, we want to give them good dreams.
A white stallion.
We don't want to give them anxious dreams.
Just get really confused. Be like, but he's a bat. But the horse. If you get sleep paralysis so often and that you are visited every night, I bet your sleep paralysis demon just gets bored with you and be like, oh, really? Again? I mean, I was just here. Ooh, are you scared? Like, no, man, you want to get some coffee because I'm up now?
I'm awake now.
Yeah, okay. Amanda and Sarah's house, damn it. Well, that pretty much wraps it up for us. So wake up. And next time, we're going to be talking about cursed objects. So go find that Annabelle doll and get rid of it.